Hi, this is my new channel. Welcome. I'm glad that you decided to watch this video. This channel is gonna be socialist politics and history, and without further ado, let's talk about sanctions. So you might have heard recently that Russia is under the toughest set of sanctions in history, allegedly. I don't know if that's true because I haven't checked every single set of sanctions, but it's pretty rough. Europe, the US, and a few other countries have sanctioned Russia. However, it is not the entire world like people are claiming. There are countries in the global south, majority of them are not sanctioning Russia because they are dependent on Russia. This is what we're going to talk about now. The thing is, when we say sanctions kill, it's true. Sanctions have killed in Afghanistan, Iraq, in many other places in the world, Syria. Sanctions kill, right? Because they starve their populations. You think the sanctions are coming out of the president's pockets? I don't think Putin is gonna just give the money out of his pockets. Of course, coming out of people's pockets. There are things like McDonald's and H&M and shit like that closed in Russia. That's fine. It's not like they can't live without it. However, there's a lot of comfort that is being taken away from the population. There's a lot of uncertainty and fear. Thing is, if you're a creator right now, you might be suffering because of the sanctions, because there are things like PayPal is not allowing access to Russians anymore, I believe, and the Western Union and the Visa, Apple Pay, all these things are getting taken away from Russians, so it's hard for them to receive money from outside, from foreign countries, if they have a business or something that is international. For example, I've seen there are people who teach Russian online, who are from Russia, and they teach international students online, so they will have problems collecting payment from that. I don't know if they found a way around that. Hopefully they have, because like I said, sanctions affect people who live there. They don't affect politicians, they don't affect the oligarchs, or they don't affect rich people in general. Secondly, they also affect immigrants who live in Russia. So there are a lot of people from Africa and Asia who live in Russia. Some of them study, some of them work. They have families back home. They want to send money. If ruble is going down, they can't send money. Obviously, they can, but like at a lower rate, so it will be less money. I've been through that myself when there was the referendum for Brexit. I used to live in Romania back then. Now I live in the UK. My dad was in the UK, however, and he was the only one of my parents who was working, and I was still in school. I was in high school, last year of high school, so I could not work because I was getting ready for my exams to get to university. And what happened is my dad was trying to send us part of his salary, as he would do every month. The pound went down because of the referendum. We had to take money from our savings because we didn't have money in that month, enough to pay for all the bills and stuff. We are blessed enough to know that we live in a former socialist country where we have our own apartment, because in socialism you're given an apartment to live in, which most of us have now. That's why Romania has the highest rate of people who own their homes versus renting compared to any other European country, because they were given to us. And I'm also blessed enough that me and my mom had savings so that we could, go by this like last few months in Romania. We were blessed, we were privileged. Other people are not privileged in the same way. Other people need to give money to their families for necessities, and you're taking that line of communication and line of transfer away from them. Thirdly, these things are affecting other Slavs, because people think we are all Russian if we have an accent. I've been asked if I'm Russian many times. I'm not from Russia, I'm from Romania, so there is this confusion between who is from where. People just think because Russia is the biggest country, we all speak Russian from, if we are from Eastern Europe. This thing is going to affect people who are from similar countries. They are going to get hate crimed, and they have already been getting hate crimed. I'm putting some sources. It's going to affect Ukrainians too. The ones that you want to defend by doing these sanctions, they're going to get affected by this shit. So you're not helping anyone. Number 4, this is affecting North Korea, the DPRK. DPRK is already quite an isolated country. Russia is one of the few countries that they are doing active trade and diplomacy with, and this is affecting them, obviously further isolating them from the global society or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Number 5, it's affecting Latin America. There have been many articles exploring why Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba in particular are getting affected by this, but I assume it's not the only countries. because there are socialist countries in Latin America who are going to suffer this, like Chile most recently has elected a socialist leader. Brazil is set to elect a socialist leader as well, so they will likely be affected in similar ways. Number 6, we've got Arabs and Palestinians. So there has been a historic friendship between Russia and Palestine, although unfortunately the Soviet Union was approving of Israel being founded in the land of Palestinians because they were lied to about how Israel is going to be a socialist country. Obviously that never happened. So they were tricked and they went against Palestinians, and that's unfortunate, but they are trying to make up for their mistakes, which is great. They have given vaccines to Palestinians, they have supported Palestine vocally, they have supported Syria and Bashar al-Assad quite a lot. Now, my video is not going to be about an opinion on Assad because I'm not Syrian. I don't feel like it's my place to talk about it. There are quite mixed opinions about him, so can't really say much myself. However, what I'm going to say is that Russia recognizes the stolen territories from Syria that are now in Israel. So the Golan Heights are recognized by Russia as being part of Syria. And Palestine is obviously recognized as being Palestine. So because of that, these countries are going to be affected by this. Russia is sending quite a lot of help towards Arab countries. They gave vaccines for COVID to Palestinians because Israel didn't do their international duty of giving them vaccines when they were supposed to. As per the 4th Geneva Convention, I believe, they were supposed to, and they didn't do it. So Russia did. Russia helped them. There's also the situation of the Ukrainian Jewish people who are now headed to Israel. Many of them have already settled there in houses of Palestinians, you know. So it's affected them directly that Ukrainians are going there instead of in other places. Number 7 is the freedom of press. You might have already seen it. RT, Sputnik, and many other publications have been removed for no reason other than being Russian. It's in my opinion outrageous that this happens. If they did it with Western publications, and by the way, they did as retaliation, they banned like BBC and like a few others, and everybody from Western countries was fuming about Russia being full of censorship when they were just doing the same that Western countries did to them. Like, it's insane. Number 8 is freedom of speech. There are countries now where you can face prison for supporting Russia, which again, I do not support what Russia is doing to Ukrainian civilians. Like, I have to say that I don't support war. I don't support any war but the class war, as seen in my fucking Instagram bio as well. So don't take this as my support for Russia. I just think this is outrageous that you can face more prison in one country in Europe, which is outrageous again. I find it outrageous that you can face more prison for being pro-Russia than for raping someone. It's just insane. Insane that this exists. Number 9 is the freedom of the arts. Russia and the Soviet Union in particular, like, have had so many contributions to art, from Tchaikovsky to Dostoevsky to Soviet montage. Just Soviet filmmaking was so influential in like what we have today as Western filmmaking. As a film graduate, by the way, I'm saying this. So you are taking away huge areas of study for people by censoring these kind of things in universities, in schools. You are taking away the choice at how to practice their own artistic expression. And lastly, yes, sanctions will affect all of us. They affect all of us because Russia is importing gas, it's importing petrol, it's importing wheat, and all of these other things that I'm listing. Russia is a big importer of different things, right? And the size of this country, obviously, it will be involved in international trade a lot. And because of that, we are taking that away from ourselves and we're shooting ourselves in the foot, especially if you're from like countries like Germany, which made itself heavily dependent on Russia for, I think, gas and petrol, both. And now they got screwed by the fact that they are in NATO and in the EU. That's their own fault, you know? At this point, it's like ridiculous that we can't see that sanctions don't solve anything, diplomacy does. And we should call for our governments to facilitate this diplomacy instead of trying to block it. It's crazy. I'm leaving all my research in the description box. I hope that this video has been helpful to understand the situation better. And if you comment, or if a Kremlin bot or Russian bot or whatever, I'm deleting that shit. Just so you know from now. Don't waste your time if that's gonna be your comment. If you think I missed anything in this video, that I need to add any more context to anything, just write it down. I'm happy to discuss, to debate, to disagree respectfully. And subscribe to this new channel. or to my main channel if you found me through this channel first. I have my main channel where I talk about like pop culture, media, influencers, that kind of more shallow stuff, let's say. But although it's shallow, I find it to be interesting social commentary on, you know, just the worst of the internet. So yeah, subscribe, like, comment, whatever else I'm supposed to ask you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.